You're listening to the Quince Podcast.
I hated my first beer. I was 12 years old and I was on vacation with my family. My parents were having a beer and I was a curious little child. So I asked my father for a sip. And he's a very wise man. He understood that if he said no to me, I'd only wanted more. So he gave me a sip. I'll be honest, it tasted like bottled piss. I'm Vishnu Gopinath and you're listening to Vishnu Ki Secret Life, where I teach you something new about nutrition, fitness, life, or lifestyle choices, usually through my own, sometimes questionable decisions. On this episode, I'm going to walk you through some common mistakes you might make while you're drinking and how you can avoid them. Let's do this. So, where were we? So my first beer tasting like bottled piss. Cut to 12 years later, and I'm drinking gin straight from the bottle, mixing Grey Goose with Black Label because, I'm in a rap video, downing Hayward's 5000 one day and drinking rum from a Tetra Pak the next because, I'm poor as shit. So I was pretty much drinking every day till I passed out. I wasn't falling asleep, not good night, sweet dreams, tata bye bye. I was drinking till I passed out every day. So, from a few years of experience, I think I've done enough and more idiotic, asinine shit to not just do a podcast, but deliver an extended lecture series on what not to do when you're drinking. Now I'm older, inevitably, and wiser, debatably, and I've learned how to drink a little more sensibly. So, let's walk you through some of the stuff that's happened and what you can learn from it. Number 1. Don't mix your drinks. I'd gone for a wedding. My best friend's sister was getting married. So, it was a really special day. So, me, my friend, and his whole family, and basically everyone who's at the wedding, were at the cocktail party. My friend had prepared a song that he was going to play for his sister on her special day. And I was supposed to hold the mic for him while he played because, I don't know, I guess they didn't have two mic stands. And the cocktail party obviously had an open bar. Open bar. So I'm holding the mic to my friend's mouth and I'm already on my third drink. My first drink was a large whiskey. The second one was some Grey Goose with cranberry juice. The third drink, I think, was a Long Island iced tea. I can't really remember what the fourth drink was, or the fifth one, or the sixth one, or the next one. The next thing I do remember is waking up on a couch that's bang in the middle of the dance floor. There are more than 200 members of my friend's whole extended family, as well as his brother in law's extended family. They're all on the dance floor. And in case you've seen me, you'll know I'm pretty huge. So it's not like I'm really well hidden. My friend's family and his brother in law's family, they all see me stirring around and moving a little bit. And at this point, my brain's waking up and it's trying to put two and two together. Slowly, because I'm still phenomenally drunk, I'm not really hidden. Everyone can see me. This is my best friend's sister's wedding. I shouldn't be doing this. And my brain slowly puts all that together. And I sit up with a start and bang my head on a hard, really hard block of wood that was over my head. And I passed out again. It must have been made of some really strong wood because I think I may have had a concussion. But anyway, oh well. I woke up an hour or two later and my friend is literally carrying me with his family into a cab. And I remember thinking, at least my last clear thought was, hey, I'm not done. I want to party. There's an open bar. My friend was livid the next day, and I was really hungover and more than a little embarrassed. Because being the guy who did that, especially at a good friend's sister's wedding, wasn't the greatest feeling in the world. His family still thinks of me as an uncontrolled alcoholic. So, here's to great first impressions, I guess. So, instead of mixing your drinks, pick one drink and avoid the urge to mix. It's the quickest way to go from fun drunk to I'm worried about you. Do you need to sit down? Are you okay? Do we need to carry you drunk? Number two, Don't mix medication with alcohol. This is no joke. There's nothing funny about mixing medication and alcohol. No joke. Don't do it. Just don't. Maybe I should tell you about the time I popped anti anxiety pills with alcohol and kicked someone who was very close to me. Or about the time I was attending a concert and ended up on stage with the band with no clue why or how I ended up there. Or perhaps I should tell you about the time I mixed prescription pills with alcohol and told my then girlfriend of nearly 2 years how I thought she was always holding me back and that I thought we should have never been together. Yeah, I've done some terrible, horrible things. Or maybe I should tell you about the time I mixed anti stress medication with some very strong whiskey and became the worst, most unfiltered, most shameless version of myself, devoid of all goodness, and ended up alienating my closest friends of over 15 years, to the point where they said I had to pick either continued self abuse or their friendship. Yeah, happy story, right? So I won't go into too much detail, but you get the general idea, guys. There are no funny stories here. Mixing medication and alcohol, don't do it. Instead, if you're taking medication, whether it's a daily thing or prescription medication, don't mix alcohol with it. Speak to your doctor. They're more than likely to advise against it anyway, and in some cases, it could be dangerous and potentially deadly, which they'll tell you as well. I was lucky enough to not mix medication with alcohol in a dangerous combination, but you might not be that lucky. Number 3. Don't drink on an empty stomach. I had gone for a concert in Mumbai in late 2014. I was watching Bonobo and Snarky Puppy, two artists I absolutely love. Unfortunately, I was at a time in my life when I was making little to no money and I was too proud to borrow from my friends. I had less than 2000 rupees on me and I had to stay in Mumbai. And if you know anything about Mumbai and rent and lodging there, you'll understand that this meant I had to make a choice between what I'd spend on either food or accommodation. So, the sensible person that I am, I chose to skip the food and instead pay for accommodation. I hadn't eaten anything the whole day because of the aforementioned poverty, but more importantly because I was being irrationally stubborn. My friends had bought a bottle of Old Monk and some Imperial Blue whiskey. So, on an empty stomach, I started drinking. I had a few shots of rum, I got to the concert, and my friend and I started taking swigs of the whiskey because we had to finish the whole bottle before we entered the venue. So, drinking on an empty stomach obviously meant I was going to get more drunk. And if you've heard the previous stories, I'm sure you can guess where this is headed. I remember almost nothing. I know we took photos because there were photos on Facebook the next day, but literally I only remember random vague flashes of light and maybe one song from Bonobo. Yeah, I'll never forget the time I forgot an entire concert. Needless to say, I learned my lesson. Never drink on an empty stomach. Instead, eat something before you drink. I'd recommend a moderate to large amount of lean protein in the time before you drink. That's one of the healthiest options, but if you don't want to have that, just make sure you eat something at least before you drink. Eating before you drink is important because it slows the rate at which your body absorbs alcohol. Lean protein is especially good because it breaks down really slowly and that slows the rate at which alcohol absorbs in your body. Number 4. Hydrate. Well, I don't have any crazy stories about dehydration. I mean, what fun story starts with, "Oh man, I was so dehydrated this one time"? But that aside, dehydration is no laughing matter. Dehydration can lead to pain and extreme discomfort, throwing up, and terrible hangovers the next day that you can completely avoid. Drink a glass of water, or maybe even a glass and a half of water for every alcoholic drink you have. Drink enough water, and your body will thank you for it the next day. Also, remember to stay hydrated and get enough fluids the next day as well. While water helps, for me personally, tender coconut water has always been helpful in getting rehydrated. Coconut water is loaded with electrolytes that your body may have lost while you were drinking. So that's it for now. Keep these 4 points in mind when you're drinking the next time, and you can avoid some of the stupid mistakes I made and have a fun, safe time. That's it for this episode of Vishnu Ki Secret Life. Join us again next time for another episode of Vishnu Ki Secret Life.